Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare states $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today we're diving into the fascinating story behind one of the most talked about coins in modern US history, the 1999 Delaware quarter. Don't let its simple look fool you. This coin has become a small treasure in the pockets of lucky collectors. So, if you've ever found an old quarter lying around, stay tuned, because that 25-cent coin could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The Delaware quarter was the very first coin released in the legendary 50-state quarters program. It came out in 1999, proudly representing Delaware, known as the first state. On the back of this coin, you'll see a striking design, a horse and rider racing forward. That rider is Caesar Rodney, an American hero who rode through a thunderstorm in 1776 to cast the vote that helped America declare independence. It's a coin filled with history and spirit, but what makes it truly exciting are the rare errors that slip through the mince machines. Now here's where things get interesting. Among the millions of Delaware quarters minted that year, a small number came out with a mysterious line stretching from the horse's mouth toward the word Caesar. This tiny flaw is caused by a die crack, a small fracture in the metal die that strikes the coin. But to collectors, this isn't just a flaw, it's a treasure. The crack looks exactly like the horse is spitting, and that's why this famous minting mistake is called the spitting horse Delaware quarter. This accidental feature transformed an ordinary coin into one of the most sought-after quarters ever made. Imagine a single raised line, no bigger than a hair, turning a pocket change coin into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors around the world search for this version, often examining every 1999 Delaware quarter they find, hoping to catch that tiny line of spit that sets their coin apart. But the spitting horse isn't the only rarity out there. A few other Delaware quarters show double die strikes, off-center designs, and clipped planchets. Each of these minting errors adds character and value, making them prized possessions in any collection. Remember, every minting error tells a story, a small accident that escaped the eyes of the mint but caught the fascination of coin lovers everywhere. If you want to check your own coins, look closely at the reverse side, the back of the coin. Right near the horse's mouth, you might see that fine raised line pointing toward the word Caesar. If it's there, congratulations, you could be holding one of the most famous quarters in American history. Just make sure not to clean or polish it, doing that could lower its value dramatically. Instead, store it safely and consider having it graded by a professional service. So, what's the real value of the 1999 Delaware spitting horse quarter today? Well, regular quarters from that year are still worth face value, just 25 cents. But if you have the spitting horse error, that's a whole different story. In today's collector market, a circulated example in average condition can sell for around $100 to $200. But a clean, uncirculated version with a clear, visible die crack can reach up to $1,000 or even $2,000. And in rare cases, top-graded specimens have sold for several $1,000s at auctions, especially when the crack is sharp and prominent. It's amazing to think how something so small, something most people spend without a second thought, could actually be worth a fortune. That's the thrill of coin collecting, hidden treasures hiding in plain sight. The 1999 Delaware quarter reminds us that history, art, and luck can all fit in the palm of your hand. Top 2. We're taking a deep dive into one of the most breathtaking coins in modern U.S. history, the 2018 Voyageurs National Park quarter. At first glance, it might look like just another coin in your change, but trust me, this little piece of metal hides stories of wilderness, artistry, and rare errors that could turn a simple quarter into serious money. So hold on tight, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your pockets for treasure. The Voyageurs quarter was released in 2018 as part of the America the Beautiful series, a program that celebrated the beauty of every U.S. state and territory through national parks. This particular design honors Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota, a wild paradise of lakes, forests, and islands where history and nature blend together. The coin's reverse side shows a bold image, a sleek loon gliding through still waters, surrounded by rocky cliffs and towering pines. It's peaceful, it's detailed, and it captures the quiet power of the American wilderness, but, as collectors know, not all coins are created equal. Some Voyagers' quarters came out of the mint with rare mistakes, minting errors that transformed them from ordinary coins into collector's gold. And that's where things get exciting. Point one of the most famous error types in this coin is the double die obverse. This happens when the coin's die, the stamp that presses the design, shifts slightly between strikes, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled. Look closely at the words, United States of America, Liberty, or, In God We Trust. If the letters look like they have shadows or double outlines, you might just have one of these valuable error coins. Another fascinating rarity found on the 2018 Voyagers quarter is the struck-through error. This occurs when a small piece of debris or grease gets between the die and the blank coin, leaving unusual impressions or missing details. Collectors absolutely love these because no two are ever the same, each one is a unique piece of minting history. And then there's the off-center strike, an error where the design is visibly shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent along the rim. The more dramatic the shift, the more the value climbs. It's as if the mint's precision missed its mark for just a second, and that tiny slip created something worth hundreds of times more than face value. Now, let's talk about condition. Even without errors, uncirculated and proof Voyagers quarters, the shiny, perfectly struck versions made for collectors, can hold solid value, especially when professionally graded in high mint state or proof deep cameo. Coins struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mark are often the most beautiful and desirable versions, admired for their flawless finish and detail. For collectors, this coin represents more than just 25 cents. It's a piece of art that tells a story of Minnesota's untouched beauty, of the voyagers who paddled through its lake centuries ago, and of the craftsmanship behind every U.S. coin. Holding one feels like holding a snapshot of America's wild heart. So, what about the value? How much can this 2018 Voyagers quarter really be worth today? Well, a regular circulated coin you find in change is still worth its face value of 25 cents. But the error coins, and especially those in top condition, tell a very different story. A double die or major struck-through error can bring in between $100 and $500 depending on its clarity and grade. Off-center strikes and rare high-grade proof examples can easily cross $1,000 or more. And the finest certified specimens, especially those in perfect mint state condition or dramatic error varieties, have fetched up to several $1,000s at auction. Top 3, we're diving into the story of a coin that captures history, mystery, and money, the 2000 United States quarter from the state of New Hampshire. It may look like just another piece of change in your wallet, but for coin collectors, this one has surprises that can turn an ordinary quarter into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So sit back, because what you're about to hear might make you check every single quarter you own. The year 2000 was the second year of the famous 50-state quarters program, a series that celebrated each state's heritage and landmarks. For New Hampshire, the design chosen was both powerful and poetic. On the reverse, you'll see a detailed image of a rocky cliff, a natural monument once known as the Old Man of the Mountain. Beneath it reads the state's motto, "Live free or die." It's a simple but bold statement that perfectly represents New Hampshire's spirit of independence and resilience. But what makes this coin so fascinating isn't just the artwork, it's the rare errors and unique features that make some of these quarters extremely valuable. And this is where collectors start paying serious attention. Among the 2000 New Hampshire quarters, one of the most famous error varieties is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't aligned properly during the minting process, and part of the design is struck outside the coin's edge. Some off-center strikes can be minor, but others are so dramatic that parts of the motto or the portrait disappear. The more off-center the design, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Another striking rarity is the double die error, where details such as the lettering in Liberty, United States of America, or In God We Trust, appear slightly doubled. It's subtle, but under a magnifying glass, the doubled outlines are clear, and collectors go crazy for it. These double dies happen when the die shifts just slightly during engraving, and only a small number ever make it into circulation. Then there are the coins known as struck through errors, where debris or grease accidentally covers parts of the die during minting. The result? Missing details or ghostly impressions that make every one of these errors unique. Some even show faint missing parts of the Old Man of the Mountain design, giving the coin a mysterious look that collectors find irresistible. And let's not forget the differences between the mint marks. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, with a P mint mark, Denver, with a D, and San Francisco, with an S. The San Francisco Mint produced both proof and silver-proof versions, specially made for collectors, with mirror-like surfaces and sharp, detailed designs. These proof coins are some of the most beautiful in the entire State Quarter series, often sealed in protective cases and highly valued when kept in perfect condition, but the true excitement lies in finding one of the rare error coins hiding in plain sight. Imagine checking your change and spotting a doubled letter or a slightly off-center strike. You might be holding a rare minting mistake worth more than you can imagine. Many of these coins went unnoticed for years, passed through countless hands before collectors discovered their hidden value. Now, the big question: how much is it really worth? A regular 2000 New Hampshire quarter in circulated condition is still worth 25 cents. But an uncirculated one, with bright luster and sharp details, can be worth a few dollars. When it comes to error coins, however, things get serious. A clear off-center strike or strong double die can easily sell for $100 to $500 depending on condition and visibility. Proof coins in perfect mint state can fetch between $50 and $100. And the rarest examples, dramatic errors or high-grade silver proofs, have sold at auction for well over $1,000, with some exceptional pieces reaching into the several $1,000 range. Top 4, we're exploring one of the most fascinating and overlooked coins in modern U.S. history, the 2009 Washington Quarter. At first glance, it might look like a regular coin you've seen hundreds of times, but behind that small piece of metal lies history, culture, and rare minting errors that can turn it into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The year 2009 was unique for American coinage. It marked the final chapter of the famous 50 State Quarters program, a series that captured the essence of every U.S. state from 1999 to 2008. But before closing that historic era, the U.S. Mint issued one last collection, the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters. 6 beautiful designs were released: Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Each coin celebrated the spirit, history, and pride of its region, making this final set truly unforgettable. Every design tells a story. The Washington, D.C. quarter shows Duke Ellington, the legendary jazz musician, seated at his piano, the first African American ever featured on a U.S. circulating coin. Puerto Rico's design highlights the fortress of El Morro, a symbol of strength. Guam's coin features the island's native heritage, while American Samoa's depict ceremonial symbols of leadership. The Virgin Islands quarter bursts with wildlife, and the Northern Mariana Islands coin shows native islanders and the ocean reef. Together, they form a final tribute to America's diverse territories, but for collectors, the magic lies in the rare errors that slipped through the minting presses. Among them, the double die variety is one of the most sought after. Look closely at the letters United States of America or E pluribus unum. If they appear slightly doubled or shadowed, that's a double die error, a small mistake that makes a big difference in value. Another exciting find is the off-center strike, where the design is visibly shifted, leaving part of the coin blank. The more dramatic the off-center image, the rarer and more valuable it becomes. Some also show struck-through grease errors, where parts of the design are missing because of debris on the die during minting. These odd-looking coins are genuine mint errors that collectors love, and let's not forget the proof and silver-proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint. These coins, with mirror-like surfaces and crisp details, were never meant for circulation. When found in perfect, untouched condition, they can be truly dazzling additions to any collection. What makes these quarters even more special is their timing. They were the last circulating Washington quarters before the America the Beautiful series began in 2010. That historical crossover gives them an added layer of importance and nostalgia. How much could your 2009 Washington quarter be worth? A normal circulated one is still worth 25 cents. But uncirculated or high-grade examples can sell for a few dollars. Rare double die or off-center errors can range between $100 and $500 depending on condition. Proof coins in flawless deep cameo can fetch around $50 to $100, while the rarest silver proofs and dramatic mint errors have sold at auctions for well over $1,000, with exceptional examples reaching several thousand. So next time you come across a 2009 quarter, don't overlook it. That small coin might hold a story of American history, art, and maybe even hidden treasure, all within the palm of your hand. Top 5, and last rare coin, we're talking about one of America's most talked about quarters, the United States of America quarter dollar from the year 2000, celebrating the state of Massachusetts. At first glance, it's just another coin in your pocket. But some versions of this quarter are worth real money, and you might just have one hiding in your change. This coin was released as part of the famous 50-state quarters program. It shows the Minuteman statue standing proud over the outline of Massachusetts with the words, "The Bay State." On the front is George Washington, the same portrait we all know, but collectors know that tiny differences in these coins can make a huge difference in value. More than 1 billion of these coins were minted, about 628 million in Philadelphia and 535 million in Denver. That means most are common, but the treasure lies in the details. The San Francisco Mint made special proof versions, and some of those were struck in 90% silver. Those are the ones that make collectors' hearts race. Let's talk about what makes these quarters valuable. First, condition is everything. A coin that's been in circulation is usually worth only its face value, but an uncirculated one, shiny, sharp, and flawless, can be worth much more. Then there are the error coins. Some Massachusetts quarters have missing clad layers that reveal a copper color underneath. Others have off-center strikes, double die details, or even broad strikes that give the rim a strange, stretched look. Each of these errors can turn an ordinary 25-cent coin into a rare collectible. Collectors have paid impressive prices for these special finds. A high-grade 2000 Massachusetts quarter with an MS-68 rating, meaning it's nearly perfect, has sold for hundreds of dollars. Proof silver versions in untouched condition often sell for tens of dollars. And if you discover a dramatic minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth several $100s or more, depending on how unique it is. So, if you find one of these coins, here's what to do. First, check the mint mark, that tiny letter just beside Washington's ponytail. A P means Philadelphia, D stands for Denver, and an S means San Francisco. The S proof coins are usually the most collectible. Then, look for unusual marks, misaligned designs, or odd coloring. The rarer the feature, the higher the potential value. Now let's talk real numbers. A regular 2000 Massachusetts quarter found in circulation is worth about 25 cents. Uncirculated examples can be worth around $1 to $5. Silver-proof versions can bring in $10 to $15. High-grade examples certified by grading companies can fetch $50 to a few $100s. Rare error coins, depending on how striking the mistake is, have been known to reach prices in the range of several $100s at auction. So the next time you get change from a store, take a closer look at those quarters. That little piece of metal might not just be spare change, it could be a small treasure carrying a story from the year 2000. Every coin has a history, but some carry a hidden fortune. Check your pockets, because your Massachusetts quarter might be worth more than you ever imagined.